Pwede na tayo, start na tayo. Hello
morning,
and good
everyone. Good
morning,
morning to our
everyone. Good morning
BHC
to our
parents,
parents,
students, and pupils,
students, and
and to
pupils,
all who are
and
watching
to all
our
who are watching our
live orientation
live
and
orientation
consultation.
and consultation.
So before we
So
begin,
before we
let
begin,
us put
let us
ourselves in the holy
put
presence
ourselves
of
in the
our
holy presence
Almighty
of
God.
our Almighty God.
We remember that
We
we are
remember that we are
in the loving
in the loving
presence in the
presence
name of the
of
Father,
the
and of
name
the
of the
Son,
Father, and of the
and of the
Son,
Holy
and
Spirit.
of the Holy
Amen.
Spirit.
Lord, we
Lord,
admit
we
that we are
admit
afraid.
that we are afraid.
The spread of the
The spread of the
coronavirus is happening
coronavirus is happening
rapidly
rapidly
throughout the
and
world.
throughout the world.
We pray for
We
healing
pray
for
for
those
healing
who are
for
sick.
those who are sick.
We pray for
We
those
pray for
who have
those
lost
who have
loved
lost
ones into
loved
death.
ones into death.
We pray for
We
protection.
pray for protection.
We come to your
We
throne
come
of
to your
grace,
throne of grace,
asking you
asking
to
you
stop the
to
spread of
stop
this
the spread
virus.
of this virus.
We ask that our
We ask that
family,
our family,
loved ones,
loved
and
ones,
communities
and community
be protected
be
and
protected
not become sick.
and not become sick.
We pray for
We
medical
pray for
providers.
medical providers.
We pray for
We
leaders,
pray for leaders,
government officials,
government
and
officials,
those in
and
authority
those in authority
that they would have the
that they would
knowledge
have the
and
knowledge
desire
and
to
desire
make
to
decisions
make
in the
decisions
best
in the best
interests of the
interests
people
of
they
the
serve.
people they serve.
We pray for
We
those in the
pray for
media
those in the media
that they would give us
that they
the
would give us
information
the
we need
information we need
without creating
without
needless
creating
fear or
needless
panic.
fear or panic.
We pray
We
for
pray
all the
for all
teachers
the
who
teachers,
are now considered our educational
our
frontliners
educational frontliners,
as they become
as
the
they become
agents
the agents
for learning to
for
continue.
learning to continue.
Lord God,
Lord
you
God,
are in control
you
of
are
all
in
things,
control of all things,
and we place our
and we
lives
place
into
our
your
lives
hands.
into your hands.
Amen.
Amen.
In the name of the
In
Father,
the name of
and
the
the Son,
Father,
and
and
of
of
the
the
Holy
Son,
Spirit.
and of the Holy
Amen.
Spirit.
So again, good
So
morning.
again, good
May we
morning,
have
and
our
may we
school
have our
director,
school
Teacher
director,
Dory, to give
Teacher
us an
Dory, to give us an
introduction on
introduction
this
on
session.
this session.
Thank you, Teacher
Okay,
Danny.
thank you, Teacher
Good
Danny.
morning, our dear
Good morning, our
parents,
dear
our
parents,
pupils,
our
and
pupils,
our friends.
and our friends.
Welcome to our
Welcome to
first in
our
history
first in history
orientation and
orientation and
consultation for
consultation
school year
for school year
2020
2020
2021.
2021.
We used to have
We used to have
orientations usually in
orientations
school
usually in school
during classes
during
already, but
classes
at this
already.
point,
But at this point,
we are having it
we
on
are having
different
it
ways
on different ways.
due to the pandemic
Due to the pandemic
that we have
that we have
experienced and
experienced
still
and still
experiencing it now.
experiencing it now.
But despite
But
this,
despite
we
this,
need to move,
we need to move,
we need to
we need
survive,
to survive,
and we need to live.
and we need to live.
Let's have our children continue their education. As UNESCO's pronouncement, education must continue. May it be in areas of war, may it be in areas wherein there are crises, or even at this pandemic time. This is the very reason why we in school planned ahead as early as April after the lockdown, which started in March. We had already teleconferencing. We have to meet as one in order to plan all activities because as I look at it during that time, we cannot have face-to-face classes. Came May of 2020, we need to concretize our plan. So we asked our teachers, despite the fact that they should not be coming to school. However, we tried our best to bring them here through our school buses. They came here by groups because we need to train them. We need to tell them what are we going to have for this school year. And pinasusundo namin sila araw-araw at pinahatid them because we wanted them also to be safe. And lucky we are because we have webinars, so we expose our teachers in all webinars. Webinars there and here. Lahat po. Inupuan namin just to prepare ourselves. So lucky we are that Teacher Robert and I were given the opportunity as one of the authors of a publishing house. We were given the chance to have webinar on how to make modules. Indeed, it really helped us because we tried to give right away to our teachers for them to prepare the first module. And I am proud to inform you, my dear parents and my dear students, that we have already in our office the first module to be used for the first quarter in all the 5 major subjects. God is good. Hindi tayo pinapabayaan. Because we need to train also our teachers on how to go online teaching. From the webinars that you have attended, I know it's not enough. So Teacher Danny, because BHC has given one slot, and Teacher Danny attended for almost a month already until now. From De La Salle University, is enrolled and tried to get all the things, all the kinds of learning modalities so that we can use all of this in delivering quality instruction to your homes. These are the very reasons why we prepared early, why we were able to craft our LCP, the Learning Continuity Plan. Before the Decade Order 007 series of 2020 came, we have already prepared what we are going to submit to DepEd. You know, Department of Education will not ask or will not allow a school to open if you cannot meet the requirements. First, we have to have the LOI, the letter of intent, that you are going to open as a school and you are going to cater students for school year 2020-2021. You need to have the LCP. You need to have the health protocols and the school calendar. So we had them prepared, and we were able also to share it to other private schools. So at this point, I am pretty sure and I am very confident to tell everyone that we are ready. So, all of us at this moment, we are all at the foot of the mountain, climbing together towards the end. Many thorns along the way, struggles and difficulties. But I know that we are together. We pray together as one family. We help one another as one family. Then I know towards the end of school year 2020-2021, we will all reach the peak of the mountain successfully. Once again, good morning to you all, to all our BHC family. So the learning modalities and assessment, wherein most of your queries are there, this will be discussed to us by Teacher Danny. Teacher Danny.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. So we have our agenda for the day. First, we have the learning modalities. Then next will be our school calendar. Then our schedule. The fourth one is our assessment, and the fifth one is our school fees. So yesterday, we posted on the BHC page asking you to give your questions or queries for today's orientation and consultation. We hope that As we go along with the session, we will be able to answer all your questions and queries. For those questions which were not answered during the session, we will have them at the end. So let us first start with the learning modalities. What do we mean by learning modalities? So learning modalities would refer to the different strategies, techniques that the teachers will employ and the students will experience. In this VUCA situation that we are all faced with, VUCA means volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. One thing is for sure and definite, and that is for learning to continue. Though there are a lot of differences on the part of the learners in terms of opportunities to study, it is a challenge for all schools to bridge these gaps. One of which is addressing digital divide. It has been a misconception to some students that they can only learn through online classes. But the Department of Education has been proactive in devising solutions to address the difficulties of the learners. BHC has adopted the blended learning modality of DepEd. Blended learning is a combination of different learning modalities. But for BHC, we would be employing distance learning and face-to-face. But since face-to-face or in-person classes are not yet possible, for the meantime, then BHC will employ distance learning. So what is distance learning? Distance learning comprises of two modes. These are online distance learning and modular distance learning. BHC learners may opt to undergo the two modalities. They can have both online and modular, or if their connection is weak or not possible, they can just have modular. So let us first have modular distance learning. The primary learning modality for BHC is modular distance learning. This is provided for all BHC learners to address digital divide. And through this modality, everybody can learn the BHC way. Moreover, all learners will be given printed modules and will be delivered to their homes. In case of learners who are in the areas very far from BHC, like those who enrolled from other provinces and even in other countries, the e-copy or soft copy of modules will be given through their email or Google Classroom. The teachers make their own modules in their respective subjects because they know the needs of the learners, how to address them, and still maintain the culture of excellence of BHC. That is for modular distance learning. The second type of distance learning is online distance learning. Although modular distance learning would already suffice because the minimum competencies are already measured through the modular distance learning, we still encourage everyone, especially those with moderate to fast internet connection speed, to undergo online distance learning to maximize their learning experience. In online distance learning, classes will be synchronous and asynchronous. What is synchronous learning? According to Johns Hopkins Center for Technology in Education, synchronous activities refer to live or real-time activities where participants are all logged in and communicating at the same time. The teacher and students will conduct a virtual class with Zoom or Google Meet. So, students need to download Zoom or Google Meet in their laptops or cell phones. The use of laptops is highly recommended actually. And with regard to the internet connection, as much as possible, it should be at least 10 Mbps. 10 Mbps. Conversely, asynchronous activities refer to not real time. When we say synchronous, that is real time. Asynchronous is not real time. These are not real time activities where participants will not have a live or actual discussion and will log in and communicate at different times depending on what is most convenient to them. During their asynchronous classes, they will check their classes in the Google Classroom, which serves as the learning management system of the school. The activities found in the Google Classroom. Moreover, modules are also considered asynchronous activities because students will answer the modules on the time of their choosing. So that is for distance learning. Now for face-to-face or in-person classes, it is only applicable upon IATF recommendation. If there is no recommendation yet, then we will not have face-to-face or in-person classes. For face-to-face classes, if it is already possible, the number of students per section is 20, and health protocols will be properly observed. So those are the different learning modalities that BHC will employ for the whole school year. The main learning modality is blended learning, which is a combination of distance and face-to-face. But since face-to-face is not yet possible, then we will have distance learning. Distance learning is composed of modular and online. And under online distance learning, classes will be synchronous via Zoom or Google Meet and asynchronous via Google Classroom or modules or books. So that is for learning modality. I will now turn you over to Teacher Robert to discuss the school calendar.
Hello, good morning to all our parents. First of all, I'd like to express what resonates in my heart, um, that learning must continue, and BHC, your school, is ready to deliver the best education in this pandemic school year. So for me, I'll be discussing the school calendar so that you will be abreast of the different dates to remember for your students and for you as well. So first of all, I'd like to tell you that the crafting of the school calendar is based on the DepEd release, which is called DepEd Order number 007, series of 2020, which was released on May 11, 2020. Okay, this is a portion of the school calendar that we have submitted to the DepEd, the original office. Okay, I'd like to start off with the activities that we have undertaken for the school year starting off for July 2020. We have already asked our teachers and faculty to report on the first day of July, but still we followed the work from home scheme also. For July also, while we are waiting for the actual opening of classes, we have in-service training of teachers. For the in-service training of teachers this time, it is focused on the use of online platforms that were discussed by Teacher Dali a while ago, like Zoom classes. Also, we have conducted simulation of the use of Zoom classes alongside with how the teachers will be using their modules. And also, we have completed the online distance learning preparation and the modular distance learning preparation, which are the materials that we're going to use to teach your kids. Also for July, we are conducting orientation, series of orientation both for parents and learners. For you parents, we are conducting it today, July 18. It is called Parents Orientation and Consultation through this FB Live. And for students, we have dry run. We have a scheduled dry run of online classes, which is called Synchronous as defined by Teacher Dami earlier. So that when we are going to start our classes, everyone is ready. Everyone is prepared for the school year. You can take note of the dates you can join. July 22, we have dry run online classes for grades 1 and 2 and 7 and 8. Look at the time on your screen. July 23 will be for grade 3 and 4 and grades 9 and 10. And the last day of dry run for online classes is July 24, 2020 for grades 5 and 6, 11 and 12, and preschool. We are doing this so that everything is ready. Now for August, we have submitted the school calendar in the Department of Education, and we stated that the opening of classes is August 5. For August 5 to 7, that is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we will be conducting again series of orientation and delivery of the modules to your homes. For August 5, we call it Kumustahan per advisory class. This will set the mood for everyone. Each will talk about their experiences during the lockdown and to know each other. August 6, that is Thursday, we are conducting a tech orientation. We are calling it tech orientation because, of course, the delivery of instruction this time is with the use of technology. Particularly, on this day, each advisor will teach your kids how to use different online platforms like Zoom, Google Meet, Google Classroom, and the test mods, which will be discussed later on. Also, on August 7, aside from the synchronous online class, we are also delivering modules for your children, our students. So on this day, the teachers will be discussing the formats of the module on how they will use it. Okay, they will also discuss the things to be accomplished, where they are supposed to answer the exercises, both provided the answer key for exercises and those that will be sent back to us to check. Likewise, in the module orientation, you will also be given an orientation of how you're going to accomplish the feedback form, so that for the second module that we will deliver, we can fine-tune, we can incorporate whatever suggestions and evaluation in the first module. But rest assured that the module we have actually crafted such that with or little amount of supervision by you, parents, the children can do it. We have applied the principle of simplicity, so to speak. And on August 10, we will be on the go, the start of actual teaching and learning process. Okay. The next part of this will be the different quarterly assessment needs. Take note that the first quarterly assessment test will be conducted on October 1 to 3. As to how we are going to conduct this, it will be discussed and we will be enlightened by the presentation of teacher Danny later on. Second quarterly test will be on December 3 to 5, 2020. And then third quarterly test, February 9 to 11. And fourth quarterly test, March 25 to 27. We also have the following important dates. Of course, we will also have our Christmas break. It will start December 20. And we will come back to school if it is already approved by the IATF January 6. And the end of a school year, and we will be holding end of school year rights between April 15 to 17. So these are the important dates, and this is our school calendar. I am now going to turn over you to Teacher Danny for the next topic.
Okay, so good morning once again. So for this part of our session, I will be presenting a sample schedule for the high school department. So this is a sample schedule for grade 7. We crafted the schedule based on the different principles that I have learned in my online management course in the De La Salle University. So, in the making of this schedule, I have considered many factors, like first, the screen time for the different age group of learners. Second is the workload of both the teachers and the students. And the third one is, of course, the number of subjects per day. So, based on principle, it is important that on the first day of the week, there should be asynchronous classes for the students. Like what I have mentioned a while ago, when you say asynchronous, that is not real time, that is offline, and it is the students will log in to their computer on the time of their choosing. So during asynchronous classes, the students will now first read their modules and answer the pre-assessment and other pre-activities. Second, they will log in to their Google Classroom for other activities, pre-activities or introductory activities, or they can read ahead lessons that can be found in their books. So that is for Monday. For Tuesday and Wednesday, for example, the grade 7 students will have English, and that will be for 2 hours. Now, for that 2 hours, it's 8 to 9 and 9 to 10. The subject teacher will divide the students into 2 groups. For example, from 8 to 9, synchronous class for the first group, and from 9 to 10, another synchronous class for another group. By principle again, the maximum number of hours as screen time for students aging 10 years old and above is only 40 minutes. So that is one of the things that we consider. 40 minutes for students with age 10 years old and above for synchronous classes. So same method will be adopted to other subjects until the end of the week, which is Friday. Now, if there are questions regarding breaks or recess, then they can have it anytime since they are in their respective homes. For Saturdays and Sundays, that will be the distribution of modules and collection of formative assessments and worksheets. So, after the first week, for example, the students will be submitting their outputs from their worksheets and formative assessments to the persons who will deliver their modules for next week. Part of what they will be submitting is the feedback form for parents. Every week or every end of the week, parents will answer feedback forms for every subject. This will now test or monitor, perhaps, the learning that the students have gained or acquired for that particular week. So it's for us also to see your comments or your suggestions or your feedbacks for that particular week during the learning of your students. So that is how the schedule for grade 7. There will be 40 minutes synchronous class per subject per group. So just another clarification, for example, in Tuesday, since there are 3 subjects, there will be 3 synchronous classes for the students for the 3 subjects. Same is true with the other days of the week. So that is how online distance learning will be conducted. For modules, the students will read and answer their modules on a flexible time or on a time of their choosing within the week with instructions from their subject teachers. So this is a sample schedule for high school department, both for junior high and senior high school. The schedule for elementary would probably be the same for high school. So the elementary would most likely adopt the schedule for high school. But for the schedule for preschool, Teacher Lori would explain it. Teacher Lori?
Okay, good morning once again. Yes, the preschool will have a different schedule because of the fact that aside from the enrollment of the preschool is very small, we are going to divide the classes into 10 per class. So there will be 3 sections in Kinder 2 with 10 pupils each. Teacher Beth and Teacher Rhea, together with Teacher Nelson, um, they are going to have the classes for preschool, 40 minutes screen time with every 10 pupils, and then in the afternoon, they are going to visit your children if you allow them to come to your place or to your homes. But for those parents who wouldn't allow, then they can have, or your child can have an individual, video call with Teacher Beth, Teacher Rhea, or Teacher Nelson, so that they can follow up where your child is. So these are done every day because first subject, it would be taught every day. So for example, today they are going to have math readiness or number readiness, then that would be discussed for the day, and then in the afternoon they can work in their module while the teachers are going out to visit their places. As I have said, in case that you won't allow the teacher to come to your house or to your home, then the same number of hours or number of minutes will be given to each child individually on maybe for the messenger so that they can have a FaceTime with the teacher. For nursery and kinder 1, we have a few number of nursery and kinder 1. Teacher Sheila will be applying the same, but this time the screen time will be lower, maybe about 20 or to 30 minutes only, because uh, it is not also right, and we are violating a law if we are going to allow the child to watch for an hour, because according to our guidelines, we are going to have only 40 minutes screen time for the children, even up to grade 12. So same rule will be applied to grade 1 and grade 2. There will be home visits also to be done. But just the same, if you will not allow your child to be visited, they will be getting an individual instruction from their teachers. Because in here, we are working on independent learning. And if you have seen our brochures, the one we posted, the Heart Guide, it entails about individual learning and independent learning, and minimal collaboration will be coming from the parents, because when we crafted for the modules that we will be using, we thought of you, my dear parents, that I know 90% of our parents are working like us, so we will work onto a very simple module, but the standard will be there so that your children can cope up with it. Thank you.
So, thank you, Teacher Lori. In addition to that, for our online distance learning, we would be following the 20-20-20 rule. Now, what is the 20-20-20 rule? The first 20 in the 20-20 rule means 20 minutes. Every 20 minutes, the learner must look for a green object 20 feet away for 20 seconds. So that is the 20-20 rule. Again, The 2020 rule states that for online classes, the learners must look for a green object or something green 20 feet away for 20 seconds. So those are some of the things that we would also consider in online distance learning. So our next part or for our session is the assessment. What is meant by assessment? Assessment is actually a support for learning. It is used to diagnose the strengths and weaknesses of our students or learners, to monitor their progress, and to evaluate the learning that they have gained. So there are three forms of assessment. We have diagnostic, formative, and summative assessment. When we say diagnostic, we refer to the phrase assessment for. This comprises diagnostic tests. This is to determine the prior knowledge, the strengths and weaknesses of the learners. The second form of assessment is formative. This is assessment as. So when we say formative assessment, these are the daily activities of learners which are used to monitor their progress. Examples are seat works, activity sheets, and other activities that can be found in their modules and during synchronous classes and asynchronous classes, and things that they will answer in their books. And the third type of assessment is what we call summative assessment. This is assessment of. Summative assessment is used to evaluate the learning that the students have gained. Examples of which are long tests, quarterly exams, mini and performance tests. So when we say diagnostic, that is assessment for. Formative, that is assessment as. And summative, that is assessment of. The traditional percentage of assessment, this is during face-to-face classes, is that assessment of, which is the summative, has the largest percentage. Formative has 10% only, and diagnostic has 20%. So for the traditional percentage of assessment, 70% is given for assessment of, which is summative. 10% is given to assessment as, which is formative, and 20% is given to assessment for, which is diagnostic. The percentages here refer to the number of assessments given. Now, the suggested percentage of assessment would be for assessment as, which is the formative, we have now 70%. Assessment of, which is 10%, which comprises the summative assessment, is now 10%, and assessment for, which is diagnostic, is the same, which is 20%. So during this distance learning, we focus more on formative assessment because we want to monitor the progress of the learners. How much learning are they gaining every day during the sessions? So that is for our assessment. Now, for these assessments, I'm going back to this one. For diagnostic assessments, they can be found in the modules. So the learners will be answering their diagnostic assessments in the modules. For formative assessments, they will be doing those kinds of assessments using first their modules, second their books, and third their worksheets. They can also do formative assessment during synchronous classes. By just asking feedback from the students, that would already be a form of formative assessment. And for summative assessment, this will not be done using paper and pen. We subscribe in an online assessment tool which is called TestMos, wherein they will be answering their summative assessments like long tests and quarterly exams through TestMos. So all students or all learners will be answering their summative assessments through TestMos. Uh, TestMos has security features. It can protect the exam or the summative assessment which we made there. Okay. How will they answer their assessment through TestMos? The subject teacher will be sending the link of the summative assessment either through Messenger or through Google Classroom. Then the learners will just simply have to click on that, then they will answer that on a specific time. The teacher may set the time that they can answer it so that the students cannot yet open it. For example, if the set time is 10 a.m., that is the only time that the learners can open the link. And then if the time duration or time limit is set for 1 hour, once the learner has entered the link for the summative assessment, he must start answering it because after 1 hour, the test will close. Okay, so that's it. Now, we turn you over to Teacher Lori for the session on school fees. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning once again. And I'm back for the tuition fees. Well, as you have seen from our the one posted in our page, that no tuition fee increase and no added fees for online classes. I just want to correct that because there were parents before whom they asked us to go on online classes throughout the year. So at that time, we don't have yet the plan of having the whole year for online and module. So we have given them some informations that in case that face-to-face or in-person classes will come anytime during the year, then those who will opt to continue online and module will be paying additional fees. Because of course, others are already here, and then if they will continue, especially if they are from far places, then it will entail also expenses on the part of our teachers because they will be handled as special classes already. But at this point, since we are preparing already for the whole year, then we are no longer charging extra fees, if ever, for those parents who will opt to go towards the end of the year and they still do not want their children to come to school. We cannot compel anyone because it's the choice of the parent. If the parent would want the child or her children, their children, to stay in their homes and continue their studies, then they can go for online and module, just the same. Okay? Now, for the tuition fees, And we did not decrease just like other schools. However, we tried to, in exchange those expenses that we are incurring and we have already incurred, like of course webinar fees of some of our teachers, because as we have said, we wanted them to be equipped. So we have to register them for seminar webinars, not only for those free. Another, the preparation and the training and preparation of making a module. It's not easy because we need to ferry our teachers back and forth to their homes and provide them also food in school. So that entails money. Then we are not too dependent on modules. Still, we are going to give books for the 5 major subjects. We also have supplementary materials like magazines because we know that we cannot give all. So to supplement learning, we also subscribe for magazines, and that is for mathematics, English, and science. There are also other TRM. These are the teachers' resource materials that we will be giving. Aside from the module, which is the basic for everyone, now there are also parents who are asking now, suppose our children will be working faster than what is expected. That is a valid question because we knew pretty well in the school that we have many fast learners. So I told the parents, we can give extra worksheets, advanced in that matter, so that the child will not get bored. But again, that is upon the request. That's why in every module that you will be receiving, my dear parents and students, there is an evaluation at the back. The parents would read and find out that there are rubrics. The first rubric there is grade. When we say grade, meaning your child was able to accomplish all the modules by himself. The second one is good. My child was able to accomplish with a little or minimal help from me. And then the last one is quite good, meaning your child was able to accomplish it but needed help. Then you can now put your comments there as a parent. If you have seen your child has accomplished the module away from the given time, then maybe you can request for extra worksheets to advance your child. Okay? Then other things that we need in school. We have also to buy gadgets like ring light, laptops, headset for teachers, and we need to construct cubicle for teachers to teach because we wanted it to be like uh, they are on their own so that they will not be distracted during their presentations, excuse me. So we constructed cubicles for them to stay by themselves. Then we need also to register our school to have its own domain. So, and having that, we need to contact somebody from the United States to do that for us because here in the Philippines, it's very expensive. Then our teachers will also be using their data, and that will also cost money during the screen time. We need also to buy the Zoom because application subscribe for Zoom because it's limited. If all of them are already using here, and most of the time there are 12 teachers who will be teaching at the same time. So we need to subscribe, and that will cost us 750 per month per teacher. And to have our connection stronger, we also subscribe for additional connection to separate the high school from the elementary and to the preschool. So during one of our webinars, we have a speaker who talked about on legal issues. Since we as a school can no longer apply for all of this because it's locked down and it's hard to process everything, because applying for additional fees to buy and to procure and to provide all of this, we cannot do it, because first requirement is to have your signature, my dear parents. And so during that webinar, we asked about our fees, since we cannot apply, as I have said. Then Attorney Estrada mentioned that we can now use those fees that we collected in place of these materials that we'll be providing. Okay? That's the reason maybe why some of our parents are not with us anymore, because we cannot really reduce the fees. As of now, we have 600 enrollees, and I would like to inform you that is one of the reasons why we conducted this, for other parents to know our plans so that they can still decide whether to come and join us. Because quality, as we always mention, we are not going to have it just be down. Parang ang sa akin, whether during these times of pandemic, we still continue to uplift our standard. Because I believe that after this year, or maybe another year, when we will go back to the normal, then we are assured that your children are on the same place, on the same pace, on the same learning that they are supposed to learn. Now, the later part of the month, while having our enrollment, as it was shown by some schools, they even offer free tuition fee. Others decrease their fees. But we are not assured also on what kind of education they will offer. But that is not the question. The point here is, I talked to the president and tell her about the situation, and we decided, because we are a family, she said, we also give our help. Despite the decrease of enrollment, she said, we are giving discounts to those families with 2 children, 3 children, and the like. So we posted again in our Facebook page that the second child of a parent enrolling for 2 will get 25% of that tuition fee only. And the third child of those enrolling for 3 children will get a 50% of the tuition fee. And the other one, which is, or what makes us unique or different from the others, is we wanted everyone to be safe, to stay at home, especially this time that we are also suffering now, not only coronavirus, but rainy season is coming and another disease is at large, and that is dengue. So that everyone will be safe, we thought of having all our learning materials, learning kit at that, be delivered to your place. One parent called my attention because in one of our posts in the Facebook is, we delivered free. Yes, that is true. Because we thought only of 1 quarter. But looking at our situation, we deliberated and we decided that we are going to prepare our modules for the whole year. Therefore, we are now going to charge the delivery. And I hope you understand that. Especially that we are not only catering people in San Fernando, but there are also our parents who are staying in Dagilian, in Bawang, in Kaba. Although, as mentioned a while ago by Teacher Danny, there were also enrollees now who came from different provinces. Why? Because maybe they have seen how our school is delivering instruction. So we have now enrollees from Pangasinan. We have 2 from Saudi Arabia. We have still contacting the 2 from Capiz because these were our former students, the Alas family. And then there are still queries coming from Abu Dhabi. So we will see what we can do. But of course, all of them will just be on you will just download the modules. For those coming from farther from Kaba, Aringay, Agoo, maybe we can ask them if it is not that much from them to just print or download the module and then print for their children. But in cases that they cannot do it, then as we have posted already in our page, then we have to do the same. So I hope that with this, though, I have to still, for those who have not enrolled their children, this is the time for you to decide, and I do hope that you have heard us. We were able to convince you to come and enroll because still we have 2 teachers who are on floating status. They are not in yet because of the fact that the operational is not expenses that will be incurring will not be enough for all of us. But I hope and pray that after this, we can already ask them to report so that they can still join the BHC family. So for your questions, we are now going to answer them, and I hope that you will still stay with us because this is the time now for you to air your concerns, and I do hope that we'll be able to answer them all. If not, I was telling Teacher Danny and Teacher Robert a while ago that we can have another meeting. It will be a Zoom meeting, maybe sometime next week. We'll just announce it through the Facebook. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Teacher Lori. So for now, we will try to answer some of the questions which were given yesterday and which were asked today in the comment section of our Facebook Live. So these are some of the questions. Actually, some questions are similar. That's why we just summarize them into four. So for the first one, will the kids wear their uniform while having their online class?
Okay.
So Teacher
Again.
Lori will answer that.
Again, I know all of us are trying to tighten everything. So we are not requiring a uniform, our uniform, to be used for classes on online. However, we want, of course, to observe decency in the attire of our children. Decency meaning they wear their polo shirt, their t-shirt, no sleeveless, and no hanging or whatever that is not enough. So again, I will repeat, decency must be observed. Thank you.
Okay, so for our second question, how many hours will be spent in online class? So I believe that was already answered a while ago. There will be a 40-minute screen time per subject per day in the number of hours to be spent. For example, if there are three subjects per day, so there are three 40-minute synchronous classes, which will be done. Okay. The third question is how will be the schedule for preschool? So that was already answered also by Teacher Lori a while ago. So there will also be home visits if allowed by the parents. Fourth one, what platforms will the students use? So the platforms that the learners will use are for synchronous classes, they will be using Zoom or Google Meet. For asynchronous classes, they will be using Google Classroom. Now, another question was raised here in the comment section. First, if there is a problem in connectivity while synchronous classes are going on, how will the learners catch up? Okay, so there are two ways on how the learners can catch up with the lesson. The first one is synchronous classes will be recorded by the teacher. So all lectures or discussions done during synchronous classes will be recorded and will be uploaded to the Google Classroom or to the Messenger, to the group chat of the students. Second, they can always refer to their modules. Their printed modules already cover the minimum competencies that the learners could achieve for that particular week. So there are two ways, again, for learners to catch up if there are problems in connectivity during synchronous classes. First one, lecture or discussions will be recorded and will be uploaded to the Google Classroom or group chat so that they can play the video over and over again. Second, they can always refer to the printed modules. The second question raised here is how can you monitor the progress of the child? Okay. In monitoring the progress of the learners, we will be doing feedbacking. Okay? Feedback on the part of the child, feedback on the part of the parents, and feedback on the part of the teachers. First, feedback on the part of the child. In the module, there are feedback questions there. Okay? We integrated feedback questions aside from formative assessments. So from there, we would know how the learners feel about the lesson, about the synchronous classes or asynchronous classes that are happening. Now, another one is the result of their formative assessment. Every week, the formative assessments like their worksheets, etc., will be collected. And then they will be checked by the teachers. Then they will be returned back after a week. Okay? So that the learners could see right away the results of their formative assessment. That is another way of giving feedback. Second is feedback from parents. Like what I have said a while ago, for every week and for every subject, there is a feedback form that the parents should accomplish. Through that, we would be monitoring the progress of the child if they have learned something about the subject. And third one is feedback from the teachers. When we will be checking the formative assessments of the learners, we would also be giving descriptive comments in their formative assessments so that the learners would know the part or the things that they need to improve. So as you can see, we give more focus on formative assessment because that is already the trend now. Because if we have strengthened the formative assessment of the students, then there will be no problem come the summative assessment. Because we believe that if they have strengthened the formative assessment, then we are confident that they would be able to answer properly the things given in the summative assessment. So that's it. Teacher Lori would be adding something.
Well, to sum it up, and we are here to provide your children the quality education that they deserve. And with your support, as I have said a while back, we can climb the mountain successfully. And with the hope that with you, with your collaboration, with your support, we are going to survive this pandemic. I just want to inform you, my dear parents and students, that here in our school, if you look at it, our teachers are with us 15 years, more than 15 years. Most of them are working for the past 15 years already here, or even those who are already 20, 18. That is one of the reasons why quality is there, because of them. And we are very lucky that all of them, despite their ages, like Teacher Bell, they embrace all these changes, all this work, the preparation, all these digital activities in order to help us carry our vision, mission as a school. So at this point, we are also looking forward for your support.
Okay.
There are still other questions, so bear with us.
So we would like to answer other questions which are posted or commented in the FB Live. So first question, will the learners be provided with the schedule? Yes, we will be in the learning kit. It's like a bag that we will be delivering to your homes. It will contain first the learning modules, Second, the schedule. Third, the directory that also contains the cell phone numbers and emails of the teachers. And fourth one, the feedback forms. So inside that learning kit, again, a bag that contains the learning modules, the directory, the numbers of the teachers and their emails as well, the schedule, and the feedback forms. Now, another question is, how will you grade the students? We still follow the DepEd order on the grading system because there are no changes set by DepEd. So we will still follow written works, performance tasks, and quarterly assessments. Another comment or suggestion, I hope that for performance tasks, there would be no FB likes or shares. Definitely, we have refrained from doing that. There will be no likes or shares to grade the mini or performance tasks of students. Another question, can the students avail modules and attend online at the same time? Yes, we highly encourage that. All learners will be given modules, and we encourage that they should also attend the online classes as is scheduled. Now, we have seen only the grade 7 schedule in the presentation. Don't worry, we will be providing you the schedule through the learning kit that will be given every week. So let us try to see another question. Will it be possible for us to inquire from your office through personal messages our children's advisory class and get from their advisors the schedules per level or section? Yes, we will be communicating constantly with the pupils and students and also to your parents once we have finished and finalized the sectioning of your children. Another question is, can we just pick up the modules instead of them being delivered? Yes, you can have them pick up. But take note that our mode is delivery. Okay, so we will be delivering the modules to your homes. I would suggest that you just have them be delivered so that there will be no hassle for you to be going to school. Um, okay, let's have another question. For students abroad, will it affect connection issues? Will we need a stronger Wi-Fi so we can connect with them? I believe those who are abroad have stronger internet connection than us here in the Philippines. So I guess there is no problem with them. So if during synchronous classes, the minimum bandwidth is 10 Mbps, so that would be enough. But if you wish for a stronger connection, then you can always have a stronger internet connection at your homes, at your own homes. What would be the best option for a child who would not be regularly assisted by an adult? That's why we encourage the child to attend the online classes so that aside from them answering the modules, because the modules are designed for self-learning, it is also conversational in nature. So it's like the teacher is talking to them, but in printed form. That's how the modules were crafted and designed. But for to answer this question, if for the best option for a child who would not be regularly assisted by an adult, I would suggest that they would attend the online classes as is scheduled. Teacher Lori would be answering other questions as well.
There was a question here with regards to delivery. Ma'am, we are not adding a delivery fee right now. As mentioned a while ago, we already tried to in place all the fees that we collected. That's why we did not add from the 40,000 that we used to collect from grade 1 up to grade 10, except those who have a government subsidy, of course. We did not already add. And there was a question with regards to the breakdown. Well, I just want to give you the breakdown with more or less, because I don't have the copy right now, but I could give you 23,000 something is for the fees, 5 to 6,000 is for the books, delivery modules, online training, etc. is for 8 to 9,000, and the rest, which is about 2,000, is as mentioned for supplementary material. We have magazine subscription, we have assessment also. We applied for assessment subscription. We have the SBO fee, which is 100 pesos, and the PPO fees, which is 300 pesos. And other fees like our affiliation. Each child is affiliated with the App School and the Association of Private Schools. We charge also a minimum amount of 300 pesos. Yun po yun. And if you're going to look at it, very minimal po talaga lang yung breakdown na naibigay. We are supposed to increase our fees this year, but unfortunately, because of the lockdown, we were not able to do so. But for next year, for maybe it's too early to tell, but I just want to inform you that you are parents who've been with us in times of crisis like this, then you are going to have something at the end of the school year. This is now something that you look forward for next school year. Thank you. This is the sample of the learning kit that we are going to deliver. Everything in this kit will be for your child. The telephone numbers also of the teachers of your children. Likewise, their email so that you can easily call their attention. And we are open for texting or to call us for elementary up to 7 o'clock in the evening. We can still entertain your queries or questions. You can still ask the teacher to help your child up to 7 o'clock in the evening. And for high school, we are opening it up to 9 o'clock. And deliveries will come Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday morning. There are more questions. So I hope that we were able to answer some of your questions. If not, you can just send it to us through the Facebook. Also, we have there, and then through our messenger, through our email, or you can text us right away so we can address your concerns. So on behalf of the BHC family, we thank you for staying with us. Your presence this morning mean a lot to us. Likewise, your children, because we know that you are preparing your children for their future, and so you wanted them to give the best education. So as your partner, despite these things that are happening, we will give you the best that we can do. We will not stop exploring all possible things to reach you. And for those who did not join us, maybe your friends or your neighbors, you can tell them to log in next week as we are going to have another Zoom meeting. But if you still wish to join us, then you are welcome. So thank you very much. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you for the continuous partnership in the education of your children. We are here as one family, so we are here to help one another. Before I will end, I would like to extend to you what Ma'am Donna Crispino has mentioned during the time that she came for enrollment. If you remember, their families were afflicted the first batch, I think, last March, and we did help them through our prayers. And she is very grateful to all of us, BHC family, for all the prayers, and now they are as healthy as us. So I do hope that no one, because we always pray for you, for your children, for our teachers, and for everyone. So maraming salamat po. Mabuhay po ang BHC family. Okay.